Last time on Burnt Cookbook Party.
Johnny, you think back to one summer day almost 60 years ago. Orem has arrived, and with them, they have a tiny wizened old gnome.
Gamler. Oh, it's nice to meet you.
We've met before, son. We met at the Battle of Vecteezy.
And kind of rubs his head a little bit, and the scar just beyond his hairline. He's like, I don't really remember that much from back then.
You may not remember, but you were the primary reason that I made it out alive. Johnny, you hear a dwarf in the fort, down a ways. He goes, Bright Child, did you hear that they're gonna call the Doom Weapon in? They're actually gonna use the Doom Weapon.
Riskarian's doing that?
King Rune Fury agreed to this.
Didn't that already happen?
If you think that there's a chance that we could get out of this without being called traitors and, killed by the orcs.
I think this has all happened before.
Johnny? Astra's gonna clap in his face a little bit.
Well, I immediately sit down and I start holding my head a little bit where that cool scar is up in my eye.
Johnny, who were you just talking to other than Astra?
It wasn't me.
I thought I was back at Fort Chatterfoot. They call it Fort Frowley now?
We're all young, Johnny. None of us remembered what happened in the war.
I don't really feel like we needed to use the Doom Weapon. I feel like that was kind of a bad call.
Johnny, do you have flashbacks often?
To be honest, Self, I don't really remember how the war ended for me.
It is the fourth bloody year of the Great War, 70 years prior to the events of our podcast proper.
This mysterious person that smells faintly of brimstone has only pointed to identify himself as Tommy Ember Eyes.
We know this motherfucker. He betrayed us.
He takes down his ninja bandana to reveal the face of Johnny Brightchild.
What?
Well, you found your voice.
Sorry, Tommy Ember Eyes doesn't talk.
So are you not Tommy right now?
I am, as far as you're concerned.
All right, I'm going to cast Detect Desires on this guy.
I'll let you field that, Justin.
What Johnny has is a ring of mind shielding.
Whoa!
Oh my god, so good. Such a super spy. Oh my god.
When you get up out of the sub-basement,
Oh my
you
god.
see a 300-foot tall metal golem.
I use Dimension Door to teleport to some cover.
A group of 4 beings on the horizon make their way over.
It's Molny.
Johnny calls out to Molny and he points. That was Aradus the Blood Mage who has taken on the divine inspiration of Lunas.
Gamweir picks up the crown and looks to you, Johnny, as he hands it to the bug woman. No one else will get their hands on this.
Johnny sort of nods absently as he kind of keeps looking back at the Doom Weapon, which is the, demigod representing his home country. Keep it out of sight.
The Doom Weapon, destroying a city in a single stride, is something that wakes you up out of a dead sleep.
I guess I just thought I'd forget.
You don't know if it's being back in Ulfadel or being in close proximity to Tetra. You remember looking into the eyes of a young dwarf. He's on his knees below you. Rain is pelting the both of you. This dwarf is looking up at you with both anger and sadness, a combination, and resolve.
Oh.
Johnny vomits.
I mean, sometimes talking about it can help, but sometimes talking about it can make it worse. So which do you think this is?
My life was great in Begram, but I couldn't really stop and look into this, it's just had to keep moving. I didn't really have any time for me, I guess, and I don't think I really knew what that meant.
Well, for what it's worth, Johnny, you remember more right now than you have the last few times I talked to you.
Battle of Vecteezy is something that is kind of a sore spot for you in more ways than one. That's where you got your scar.
Yeah.
You see in front of you a white phoenix. Mm-hmm. Impaled in its chest is the crystal sword.
Oh.
And it is bleeding blue blood that stands in stark contrast to this environment. And it is, you can tell, the same liquid that the time spiders are made out of.
Oh shit.
What the fuck?
Definitely all of his memory loss kind of, splinters out from here. He really drifts off thinking about the White Phoenix at Shadow's End.
You feel suddenly like some goo dripping down from the ceiling that falls over your hand and helps cover this back up. And when you look up, you see a monstrosity. At first you think it's a time spider, but it's much larger. And instead of being all spider, the top of it is vaguely humanoid. It has long, pointed, needle-like hands that are weaving this goo together into almost like a beautiful tapestry. Zelf, this spider's pointed clawed leg goes into your chest, but instead you look down and you see that you are getting your first tattoo.
Yes.
Standing with you is another upstart Mjolnir chef called Vol Event, and he will go on to also be an apprentice of Chairman Naga with you.
You know, Vol, at the start of things here, it was so exciting for me to have a friend who was into cooking. But when you disappeared, I didn't even wonder where you'd went. Vol, I never asked you where you came from.
Just some hick town in the south. You probably never even heard of it. Gold Grove.
They have an annual hot sauce competition.
When we picked up with you at the start of this loop, you had just lost Concarne's competition, but at this moment, you are waiting for the results to come back unaware of what's to come.
Oh yeah, Zelf has basically taken everything he learned about hot cuisine and combined it all. He took the kitchen sink approach.
Instead of hot sauce, you see one of them has like a bottle of ink for tattooing. Somebody else doesn't even have hot sauce. They have a souffle, which you know is what you were supposed to have made at the top 4.
I think that our memories have started to get mixed together. And what that tells me is that maybe there's a way to see the strands of the spider's web and tug on them, and maybe we can find our way to the center.
It is like a giant spider web that you're stepping onto, and you can kind of climb down it like very sticky runs of a ladder towards the center, and looking around you in all directions, just more webbing as far as the eye can see, this sort of blue abyss.
I've been thinking harder than usual about our situation with the time loops. I'm afraid that to catch the spirit of the age, we might have to take time into our own hands. Now, the only reason we waited to cast the ritual was for Astra to learn it, and she is such a good pupil. I think if we don't do it now, time might get away from us.
Casting it on the tent, I have agreed to rule it as a location in regards to its interior. It's also an object that has a non-permanent placement in the world. So when time loops, the tent will reset to its starting point as if it were an object. And so its starting point is Chili Con Carne's hot sauce competition in Gold Grove. The second thing is that Zelf and Manny's starting location at the beginning of the loop is the tent. So they're not going to duplicate.
I am willing to accept that risk.
When Astra, Janni, and Patty are duplicated, like Abraham and Neven in New Haven in Loop 1, if one of them is killed, the other will also die. So it's going to be imperative that you not let your enemies know that you've been split, right?
Do we know what effect this tent is going to have on Johnny's soul?
If Janni goes in as a blanket, he's going to stay a blanket.
But then there will be a normal Johnny out there.
Anything that was not inside the space at the time of the ritual casting, but is there when time loops, is duplicated.
Part of me is like, I don't want there to be 2 spiral rapiers in the world. That's bad enough that there's one. Even though Astra is pretty certain that this will send Blank Astra spiraling when she realizes that her artifact, her most important artifact, has disappeared. She thinks that's worth it, so she's gonna put it in there.
The energy swirls and spirals like a blue tornado, and within it, you see your past images playing out important moments. Janni, you see the memory that we saw in Fort Frawley. You and this mysterious dwarf soldier who keeps popping up have overheard the plan to activate the Doom weapon, but this time it's very different than what you experienced in your haze. This dwarf is upset, and Janni, you aren't. You're unmoved by this news, and you're unmoved by this dwarf's reaction. In retrospect, you recognize that this is the day that Rescuers became allies with Guldraur, The Riskarian soldiers, even then, are visibly uncomfortable, but this cleric that's at your side reaches out and places a hand tenderly on your shoulder and just gives you a sage nod, as if to say, this is what's supposed to happen. And you can see this Janni of the past relax and accept the situation.
Janni reflexively puts his hand on his shoulder, grips it a little bit.
If in a third loop we just happen to run into Tommy Ember Eyes of the Nest, is there a quicker way that we can come to an understanding without having to, have kind of half of a fight and then half of a conversation?
Tommy Ember Eyes is going to write down the word calco.
Uh-oh.
We just have to say this to all iterations of Tommy Ember Eyes and see if it means anything.
You see Janni pick up that piece of paper and throw it in the fire, or whatever can be done to destroy it.
Sometimes knowing the context for a name is more dangerous than not knowing it.
Tommy's looking for somebody from the old days, from like the war times. There's a program in the Riskarian army, the Candle and the Shadow. Tommy is looking for one of those clerics, another bright child actually, by the name of Calco.
Yeah, I know Calco, but... And Janni instinctually kind of rubs the scar on his forehead. I don't know if you're gonna find him anymore, bro.
Well, ladies, gentlemen, ghosts, ghouls, skulls, we may be standing on the cusp of destiny here. If the Forge can destroy an artifact, there's our ticket to the next loop.
I mean, I would save Molny for sure.
There are so many factions and so many plans and so many influences. I don't know whose plan is the right plan, and I think that probably no one's plan is the right plan.
I agree with you, Patty.
So we should make our own plan.
What if we somehow fake his death, the ministry thinks that they've succeeded, and then we whisk him away and they are just like, why isn't this working? And it's because he's not actually dead. And we've hidden him somewhere.
I'm intrigued.
A fun, interesting heist proposal.
I've been considering that in the next loop, maybe we can bring Johnny's ghost to his clone body and kind of smoosh them.
Oh no, gang.
Well, it's like when he was sharing souls and had Glorahan's memories and stuff, it was making him really sick and fucked up.
I'm theorizing that a synthesis of soul would simply come together as one. After all, it's Janni and himself. It's not Janni and Paris and Glorahan.
But it would be Janni, and Anaj, right?
Every time Anaj has come out, so did the spiders, which lets us know that it's an unnatural situation.
Maybe we should talk to Rabuwal.
Do we want to celebrate the end of this loop by taking in the vista of the ice dome?
I mean, we could also, confirm the status of the Doom weapon, which is a good thing to do.
I'm down.